Good evening, everyone. Welcome, Democrats. Do we have reason to celebrate, or do we have reason to celebrate? I work with Republicans, so I had to be very quietly like. Welcome to our meeting. If you will please rise, we will have our Councilwoman Patricia Dillard lead us in our pledge.
Thank you. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Patricia. Hopefully everybody can see a copy of the agenda. I put a couple on each table. I can entertain a motion to approve the agenda, or Brenda move, and Trinity seconded. Okay. Next, remember, don't leave Katie out there by herself. Go buy some raffle tickets. Also, one more announcement: all the leftover food, the center does not want it, so we need to take everything with us when we leave tonight. So if you think you might want to, those peppers are looking pretty good to me. Steam them and stuff some rice them. So anyway, but we need to take all the food with us. Now I will take it over to Meryl Perry, who is our special events coordinator, to talk about all the events coming up.
Then we have to vote on the motion? No, okay.
Well, we had a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion about the agenda? Okay, then by acclamation, we approved it.
Okay.
Are you gonna be like that ball meeting?
Okay, folks, last year we had more candidates show up than we had members show up for the parade. Please do not embarrass me. Please, I was mortified. Okay, so I have some information for you. Starts at 10 o'clock, ends at 12. It'll be at the end of the street. It's a traditional parade route. The map they've given me is worthless. We are at the end of the parade. So we're virtually going in a circle, and we're starting at one end and then ending right back up to where we were. Okay, so what you need to do is be there in our unit by 9 o'clock. Jean?
A little louder.
No, that's even worse.
Okay.
You gotta get close.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm the one that usually screams the most about talking into this. Okay, so it starts at 10. You need to be at our site, which is a spot called U. We are right across from the La Mesa Police Department. They'll be there. And then something Skate Unity will be ahead of us. So basically, if you know how to count backwards or forward, you'll find us, okay? So after the parade, I'm sorry, this is not my day. Parking is going to be at a premium for those of us that have to decorate. This year we have a car that's going to be with us that's being used by and driven by Willie Douglas. He's donated his blue Mercedes to us. We will be decorating it, and we're gonna have can-can dancers behind him. Okay, so the other thing is that those of us who are decorating will be meeting at this address, and that is at 5009 Rondelet, Randlett. Just one block this way. We cannot meet up here anymore because apparently it's just the rules now. So you will meet there, we'll decorate, get placards if you want a placard, or we'll give you all the doodads that come with it. okay? So if there is no parking on Rondelay, you're gonna swing by, pick up your posters and your doodads and find another parking spot.
There's plenty of parking on Randland.
Oh, good, okay.
Where garage sale used to be.
That's right, I remember the last garage sale, big bucks. Okay, so there will be a lot of parking. It is from Memorial, if you are coming from the west and heading east, it's just 1 block past Memorial, okay? And if you're coming from the from the east, you're gonna come west, and it's 1 block before Memorial, all right? So there should be plenty of parking according to Cy, and we'll decorate, grab our stuff, our paraphernalia, and we'll be going. There are a few changes in the rules about placards. We cannot be using placards that say for instance, Susie Q running for such and such thing. It cannot be partisan. So it's just Susie Q, Democrat, okay? So if you're... If you want to do that, Richie, I am perfectly happy with that. So, okay, any other things? If we get more details, and I'm not very coherent, I will send everybody actually Rosamond will, clarification. Okay, thank you. Oh, and don't forget June 13th, Juneteenth, okay, is Father's Day, and it is from 11 to 4.
16th.
16th, okay.
16th.
The 16th, which is Father's Day.
And it's from noon to 4.
Okay.
Sorry. if I
Thank
had
you.
those-
No. I didn't have all my notes with me. Okay, so we are in a contest with the Women's Democratic Club about our booth. So we need to really bring some stuff for Juneteenth. Plants, posters, you name it, so we can beat them. Okay? I mean, Rosamond accepted the offer. Okay, thank you.
Juneteenth.
So Juneteenth is going to be on the Sunday, not Sunday.
Well. Welcome back, Democrats. I really like the conversations that happened before the meeting. So before I get into the one point I'm supposed to make tonight, I want to sidebar with y'all. If you're in favor of Trump doing prison, please raise your hand. Wow, that's a unanimous vote if I've ever seen one. Okay, I thought the judge would give him 4 years and suspend it, but based on this crowd, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, let's talk about the presidential election. A lot of down ballot elections. I know you're all involved with. There's plenty to choose from, plenty to get active with. I want to talk about Biden beating Trump and Focus for Democracy. That's the name of a group who is focused on having Biden beat Trump, specifically in the 7 so-called swing states: Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Raise your hand. Have anybody else heard about Focus for Democracy? Focus for Democracy. Anybody else? It's a relatively new group. A friend of mine from Seattle and Olympia basically sent me a text and an email and said, get on this Zoom. I jumped on the Zoom. There were 1,700 people nationwide, put everybody on mute. Had 2 people talk at this one. The prior one was Nancy Pelosi. At this one, it was Kerry Washington and Jeremy Smith. Kerry Washington got on and basically said in 2020, people kept coming up to me and saying, Olivia Pope, my character in Scandal, needs to fix the election. She was really cute. She popped off a set into her car and did this Zoom and apologized for all the crap that was in the back of her car and said, don't look at this, just listen to me. But people kept coming up to me and saying, Olivia Pope has to save us from Trump. And I tried to tell them, that's a fictional character. I mean, come on. I mean, she was really, really cute talking about that on end. And she basically said, look, In 2020, I played the card where I'm a celebrity, I'm backing Biden, so you should vote for Biden because I'm voting for Biden. And she said, that's not enough, I want to do more. And what I want to do this time around is I'm getting a bunch of my buddies together because what we can do in Hollywood is storytelling. And what needs to be done is storytelling on social media. And we're working with Influence Change. It's a group that was started with Hollywood celebrities, performers, directors, I mean the whole cast, and basically to tell the Biden story on social media. So that was one of the groups we tried to raise money for on this last Zoom. And the other one was Freedom to Vote, which is organized by Jeremy Smith. His prior gig was Special Forces hostage rescue around the world, where he was saying that, you know, how you find a hostage is you start to eliminate the places they're not. And that's what we need to do when we work on voter registration. The thing that impressed me the most about Focus for Democracy is, and I'm going to quote my good friend Don Manning, political director for AFL-CIO, what are the three most important things in every campaign? Data, data, and data. These people were incredibly data focused in terms of what slices of the voting universe can we get in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia to flip for Biden, new registration voters and people under 30 on social media. And that's where they're focused on. So I just want to bring that to your attention because I know most of the people sitting here, because I see you at all these other events. I see you with all these other organizations. Please talk up Focus for Democracy. We raised over $2 million. The contributions this night were ranged from $10 to $500,000. And like I said, everybody was on mute. They didn't take, there's no chat. It was just, hi, this is what we're doing. Here's the data. Here's where we're going. Here's our two leaders in this effort, Kerry Washington and Jeremy Smith. We're going to talk to you. Okay, ready? Give us some go. And here's a link. The next one is on June 20th. We can send the link around if you want to look it up for yourself. Focus for Democracy. My main point is that you become aware of this group called Focus for Democracy. They're relatively new, and I was just blown away at how competent, how organized, and how useful they were in terms of focusing data and applying it to get Biden more votes in the 7 swing states. So that's what I wanted to bring to your attention. Thank you, Tina, for giving me the time. And Dr. Caldwell, we're looking forward to your presentation.
Hello. I always come here straight after work, so I don't have time to go home and eat and whatnot, so I figured I'd use my time to walk around. So I walked around all this area. It's so beautiful. The Masons are so lucky that we have all these parks and pools and all this stuff. And Spring Valley is not quite so well blessed. I told you not to go far. Chris is working on a park in Spring Valley that maybe he would like to just say a word or two about. He showed it to me, so I'm excited now because it's by my house.
Yeah. What was the name of that group? Focus for Democracy, Focus for Democracy, Focus for Democracy. That's my main point. But we're on the brink in the county budget of funding the construction of Calavo Park. It's a regional park with 28 elements in the park. We got a skate park, basketball courts, pickleball courts, soccer field, baseball field, dog park. It's got it all. The budget was $13 million. That's in the line item. The bids came back. They're $20 million. We have to find another $7 million, so we're asking people to go on the county website and basically look for where you can comment on the budget. The budget's got to be in by May 23rd. We're asking them to transfer money from the planning. June 23rd. Sorry. Anyway, if you go on the county website, look for the comment section on the budget. Basically, click on it and punch in "Build Out Calavo Park." We're asking them to transfer planning money into construction money and build the damn thing. It's located in some of the lowest income census tracts in the county. It needs to be built. It's a regional asset. It's literally at the apex of where districts 1, 2, and 4 get together. That's Nora, Monica, and Joel. We have those 3 votes. We're trying to get Tara to also vote on it. But the more interest we can generate on the county website and their budget click that says build Calavo Park, the better. But what was that other one? Focus for Democracy. Yeah, Focus
So
for Democracy.
you'll send the information to Rosemont about how to.
Fine. Yes, I'll do that. Thank you.
Let us know where it is first.
It's located on Calavo Boulevard off of Hammershaw Boulevard in Spring Valley near 94. And it's a 10-acre park. It's huge. It's a regional asset that everybody's going to use. Kids from all over are going to use it. Those kids deserve it. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm done picking on people. We're ready to welcome our guest, Professor Avery Caldwell. What? Sorry.
Avery Caldwell.
Avery Cole. Oh.
Caldwell.
Bio.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Brenda's gonna introduce.
Okay, we have an esteemed assistant professor at San Diego State University, Dr. Avery Caldwell. A little bit about him. Avery will speak about Juneteenth history and celebration. Avery Caldwell is a design educator and professor with a focus on experimental graphic design, interactive media, and architectural visualization. Very interesting. He's just not a nurse. Avery aims is to foster connections with the African diaspora, right? Diaspora, I knew that wasn't right. Enhances the identity of space predominantly inhabited by Black population and increase social equity within these communities. We'd like to welcome you to our meeting.
I feel like I'm on The Price is Right. Like Bob Barker. Avery Caldwell, come on down. The late, great Bob Barker. These are some really interesting and heavy moments.
Closer to the mic, please.
These are some really heavy moments that we're in right now. Never before have we been faced with the danger of our democracy being challenged, right? Never before have we been challenged with our democracy being at risk, right? And with culture and religious wars happening across the globe, and here in the United States, we've been, over the last few years, the tensions happening within communities that deal with social equity and justice. And even here, closer to home in La Mesa, where we've experienced within the last 5 years, some tensions as well, right? We all know that. And so that is why today I speak to you incredibly humbled and grateful that you allow me this opportunity to speak to you about Juneteenth and its importance to all Americans. So thank you. As Brenda said, I'm a professor, and you will be quizzed after this today. All right, so take notes. I'm going to give you a little history about Juneteenth and its significance, how it came to be. Some of this information you may already know, and some of it may be new. But the idea is that you would share it with other people. So on January 1st, 1863, and where did my notes just go? On January 1st, 1863, that was before I was born, by the way, the Confederate States declared legally free the signing of the what? Okay, that's my TA right there. Okay, that's my teaching assistant. The Emancipation Proclamation, right? But not everyone in the Confederate territory would immediately be free, and we know that. The enslaved people of the Confederate state of Texas. Anyone from Texas? Okay. We won't hold it against you, don't worry. Would not be free until much later. For them, freedom finally came on June 19th, 1865, when some 200,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas. This was a full 2.5 years later by the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. 2.5 years. Can you imagine that? Under the executive order of President Lincoln, General Gordon Granger stood on Texas soil and read what is known widely today as General Order Number 3. That read as follows. I'm going to try to do my best impression of what General Gordon made it sound like. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive Order of the United States, all slaves are free. The Army announced that more than 250,000 enslaved black people in the state were freed by executive decree. This day became known as Juneteenth by the newly freed people of Texas. So Juneteenth marks our country's second Independence Day. You may have heard this, and that's widely known as well. Although it has been celebrated in the African American community, this is a monumental event that remains largely unknown to many of Americans. They're not really sure what it is. Is it just a party for a lot of black people? It might be, but it's something else. The actual holiday came by the relentless work of a 94-year-old social justice activist by the name of Opal Lee. You see, there's some hope for you after all. 94 years old, she did this. Okay? She was actually 89 years old when she walked from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. That's over 1,300 miles, right? To protest and to get Juneteenth signed into law. On June 17th in 2021, it was signed by President Biden and officially became a federal holiday. Today, Juneteenth honors the end of slavery in the United States and is considered the longest running African American holiday. Although, however, myself and I'm sure like many others don't consider it just an African American holiday. It's not just for African Americans. This is for everyone to celebrate. And because of that, therefore it's recognized as Celebration Day, Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, and Juneteenth Independence Day. Any questions?
What was her name?
My name?
The lady that walked.
Opal Lee. So at this time, Brenda, if you don't mind, there is a video I'd like to show you. Oh, you know what, Britt? I'm gonna have to come down there because I have a little password thing after.
Oh, you can just give it to her.
Oh, yeah. It's a double brand.
Really loud into the mic.
Can we get the video too? Or the projector on it?
Yes.
There isn't. Okay. As I mentioned before, Opal Lee walked over 1,300 miles to get this Juneteenth signed into law when she was 89 years old. And I think she's 97 now. and she's still working. She earned 2 doctoral PhDs, honorary PhDs, and she's relentless in her work and efforts. And so she is widely considered the grandmother of Juneteenth. So this is just a little presentation I put together and I thought you might enjoy. Can you guys hear me? Well, I'll use my teacher's voice.
Does
Does she live in Austin?
She lives in, I believe, Dallas. Yeah, I'm not certain, but I know she did for a while, but she still lives there. I'm sorry, there's no, maybe I can probably put the mic on my speaker and you can hear it. It's as high as it's gonna go.
Avery?
Yeah.
Avery?
Yes.
There's some people back behind you that want you to repeat what you said about Opal.
Okay. So Opal Lee, at 80,
Use the mic.
at 89 years old, Opal Lee marched from Fort Worth to Washington, D.C. To get awareness to happen around the country about Juneteenth, to make awareness. She was successful in getting the bill signed, and getting it signed by President Biden in 2021. And she was 94 years old when this happened. So, okay. Did you guys hear that? Did everyone hear that?
Yes.
Let's see.
This Sunday, and this, of course, contacted President Biden made June 19th a federal holiday last year. But there's one woman who made it her mission to see the job.
It's really low.
It traveled to Fort Worth, Texas, to talk with 95-year-old Opal Lee, who many consider the grandmother of Juneteenth.
What do you would like to do? I'm just putting. Yeah, that's the best. Yeah, I'm just gonna put the mic on this speaker. That works.
At 95 years young, Opal Lee shows no signs of slowing down. Alex' story has become legendary for her unwavering mission as the grandmother of Juneteenth.
At what point did you decide that you wanted Juneteenth to be a national holiday?
I felt like I hadn't done enough. I was 89 years old when I got to thinking about it. I just
So it wasn't until then, it wasn't until 89.
I was old as dirt.
We're going to celebrate mothers everywhere while we salute the grandmother of Juneteenth. Miss Opal Lee received an honorary doctorate degree from the University of North Texas today. She got her master's degree at the same campus 60 years ago, and she just has not stopped since. In that time, she successfully led the charge to make Juneteenth a national holiday, and she was nominated for the
Freedom is for
Congratulations,
A trailblazer who's known to many as the grandmother of Juneteenth, received an honorary doctorate degree from Wiley College. Opal Lee, a Marshall, Texas native, graduated from Wiley College in 1952. Nearly 71 years later, she's being recognized as a civil rights pioneer.
Wiley, I got some memories. I got some good memories too.
Her historic commitment led her to walk 1,400 miles at the age of 90, from Fort Worth to Washington, D.C., to ensure Juneteenth was recognized not just in Texas, but across the country. She did just that, and in June of 2021, she stood alongside President Biden, who passed the bill making Juneteenth a national holiday.
The enslaved in Texas didn't know they were free for 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Texas so big that the word supposedly didn't get to Galveston. Well, we think it did because plantation owners had brought their slaves to Galveston, thinking that when the Civil War was over, they'd go back and get them. As we don't do something about the joblessness and the homelessness and health care that some can get change. We are free. None of us are free until we're all free.
Lee, now 96 years old, plans to continue being a part of history by contributing to the planning process of the first National Juneteenth Museum set to open in Fort Worth on Juneteenth 2024.
Opal Lee.
The grandmother of Juneteenth returned to the White House Friday. Opal Lee of Fort Worth was one of 19 selected to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the country. For years, Lee walked to raise awareness of Juneteenth, the day slaves in Texas learned they were free, 2 years after slaves were free. In 2021, President Biden signed a law making Juneteenth a federal holiday.
The first person I handed the pen to was Miss Opal Lee, the grandmother of the movement that helped make it possible.
Lee shared the stage with the only woman to serve as Speaker of the U.S. House, Nancy Pelosi, the most decorated female Olympic swimmer, Katie Ledecky, and other politicians, activists, and athletes. Age has not slowed the 97-year-old down. Lee still participates in the annual Juneteenth Walk. She is the second African-American in history to have a portrait on the walls of the Texas State Capitol. President Biden said this honor speaks to the dedication Lee has shown in educating the nation.
Juneteenth is a day of profound weight of power to remember the original sin of slavery and the extraordinary capacity to emerge from the most painful moments with a better version of ourselves. Miss Opal Lee made it her mission to make history, not erase it. We're a better nation because of you.
I decided that maybe if a little lady, 89 years old, in tennis shoes, walking from Fort Worth to Washington, somebody would pay attention.
And they did when she started Opal's Walk. Trekking 2.5 miles at a time. For the 2.5 years it took for General Gordon Granger to arrive in Texas and inform enslaved black people of their freedom after the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865. She delivered 1.5 million signatures to Congress, clinching victory when legislation passed last year.
The bill is passed.
It was signed by President Biden at the White House, establishing Juneteenth National Independence Day.
What do you think of when you look at that pen?
That it has done so much for freedom.
Long before the former school teacher and mother of 4 launched a national campaign, her recognition of Juneteenth came at an early age.
When I was a little one and we lived in Marshall, Texas, we'd go to the fairground. There'd be games and food and food and food. I'm here to tell you, it was like Christmas.
But June 19th wasn't always a celebratory occasion. In 1939, when Opal was 12 years old, her family moved to a home at this corner in Fort Worth that was torched by a white mob.
The paper says there was some 500 folk who gathered. They drug the furniture out and burned it. Burned the house too. My parents never, ever talked to us about it. Not ever.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. They accepted what had happened.
Acceptance, but for her mother, not defeat.
After that house was destroyed, she worked untiringly till she got another one. I say that maybe I got my tenacity from her. I've got a long way to go.
That tenacity is now driving Opal to erect a new national museum on her own land dedicated to telling the story of Juneteenth.
People think it's a black thing when it's not. It's not a Texas thing. It's not there. Juneteenth means freedom, and I mean for everybody.
For those who come after you, what do you want them to know when they hear the name Opal Lee?
I want them to know that the little old lady dreamed, and they can dream too, and that the dreams can come to fruition.
In Fort Worth, Texas, Nicole Killian, CBS News.
What a trailblazer, right? Wow. Only. I wonder what I'll be doing at 89 years old. Listen, I really enjoyed speaking with you today, and I would be remiss if I didn't let you know, of course, that while the La Mesa Juneteenth family and friends celebration is still in its infancy, we're still trying to get our legs underneath us, our wind behind our sails, if you will. We definitely need your support. We need your community support. We need your support by telling friends and family what we're doing and why it's so important. We need financial support to keep this going. And because of that, I would like for you to visit our website, lamesajuneteenth.org, right? And I have some takeaways for you, door prizes here, so that you can consider sponsoring us for either this year's event, it's not too late, next year's event, and the next year, and the next year. So I'm gonna have these, if you don't mind, if you could just kind of to table, Brenda. And if you, just one each. If you are really inclined to do this, of course, we have some flyers. If you have your businesses, you would like to put some flyers up, that would be greatly appreciated. We have yard signs if you'd like to do that. If you don't, then I'll just come to your home and follow you home and put some on your yard myself. So we appreciate all of the support that you lovely people can give us. Thank you. Are there events planned? Yes. Yes, this is what we're talking about. We're in our second year.
No, third.
I'm sorry, third year. Thank you. Our third year of the La Mesa Juneteenth celebration. It is still, like I said, it's still fairly new, and it's spreading in the community. But we definitely need your help to make this a much broader event. Yes. Do I have a slide? You know what? If you want that video, I can give you that video. I could email it to you. It's a fairly large file. I'm just trying to figure out but Brenda, is there a way that I could leave this video on your computer? Okay, and then perhaps you can get it from one of the organizers here. Yes.
Can you download it on our website?
I can do that too, yeah. So there you go. Go to our website. Everything is there. Everything is there, right? We will download it to our website. It'll be available for you to watch, to view, and to share. I will. Absolutely, I will. Yes, Patricia.
We want to make sure that we invite you all as well. We want you to come out.
Yes.
And it is a family affair. We have something for children. There'll be food that will be served there. There's a ton of vendors that you can go shopping with, and we have a child center. We're going to have an electric car on display. We have the MLK choir. I don't know if anyone has heard of the MLK choir, but this is going to be their third time singing for all of us. And I have to tell you, when they start singing, even the kids stop doing whatever they're doing. They sound amazing. And we need your support in that way too. Please come. Please come. This is a national holiday. And we are celebrating for America because this is American history that we're celebrating. And we want anyone who can come to come right across the street at MacArthur Park because that's where it is. So please come out if you can. It's from noon to 4. You can come for a little while or stay all through that time. I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself. I'm sorry, what? Oh, and we have a lot of volunteers that have stepped up, and you can go online and see our sponsorship as well. We have really built it up, and we work very hard. Alan Durnan and myself co-chaired this event from dirt, and so we're very, very proud to be able to share that success with you all as well at MacArthur Park, which is directly across the street. So please come. June 16th. Father's Day. It's
We have a booth there, folks. That's what I was talking about. We have a booth. Come.
Susie, did you want to say something?
But I just donated.
Yeah, I did, last year, I just had this idea that I would collect books. I myself started reading a lot of books by Black authors around 2020, just for my own knowledge, and I love books, and my mom loves books, and we all love books, and I just had this idea that I would start collecting books by Black authors and books about Black lives. And so over the few months before Juneteenth last year, I collected I think I had about 300 books by the time I was done. And I got them at Friends of the Libraries, thrift stores. I mean, I really didn't spend it. I did it pretty cheap for all the books I had. And my mom was with me the whole day, and we had a table, and we set all the books out in sort of in categories, like, you know, I had some young adult books, I had some children's books, mostly, you know, a lot of biographies, I got a lot of Michelle Obama's, got a lot of, you know, biographies, but then I also got some really good novels, and I got, you know, a few like Toni Morrison and some, you know, Maya Angelou, but then I also tried to focus on modern, current authors, and I found really great stuff. So we had, we just had the best time. It was such a wonderful day. So we had the books all spread out, and the sign just said celebrating Black authors and Black lives, and it was free books, and I just gave them away to whoever wanted them, and it was really, really, for me, it was super just rewarding, and I think fun to talk about books. My mom knows a lot about authors and books and read book clubs, and so it was just fun to talk about books, to share books, to introduce, parents and their kids would come up and be looking at the books and say, here's James Baldwin, or here's, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and like introduce their books to their youngsters, and then it was just such a rewarding thing to do, me, and I just have to do it again. So I am collecting. I didn't get quite an early start on my collection of books, but I've got a lot so far, and I've still got two full weekends to collect. So if you come out, stop by the book table, and at least have a conversation. It's a fun time.
What if some people here want to?
Yeah, if you have books, that would be fabulous.
Black authors, you bring them to my house or Susie, and we'll get them on that day.
And that would be fabulous. Yeah, yeah. It's all right. A lot of the books I've collected, I don't want to, like, I want to read them. I'm not sure I want to give them
Right.
up quite yet, but, you know, I'm trying to read fast. So, yeah, just amazing things. Like people, I've discovered a lot of authors I didn't even know about.
If you come across any books from Audre Lorde
Oh, yeah.
or Bell Hooks, you should add those to your collection.
I have, yes, I have a couple of those in my private collection, but yes, I definitely.
Let me just quick. Let me tell you guys how important this event. I've been in La Mesa since 1974, and we were one of the first black families that I know of in La Mesa, and we were on East Ridge Hill. I've known Susie for about 50 years, since we went to La Mesa Junior High together, and it was 7th and 8th grade. But this event is important for not only La Mesa, but for East County. I mean, we have to show the rest of the county that La Mesa is diverse. We have to show them who we are and why we are what we are. And we can't do that with a minimal amount of people there. We need an abundant amount of people. We need the entire La Mesa community to show up. And we need your help in making sure that happens. So when you go to the website, we need you to spread that website to all your friends and families. It is so difficult to get a hold of people, as you know. You know, to get people here, to get people present, to get people involved, to get people to participate. It's hard, it's difficult. Patricia and I have been trying to do this for 3 years, and it is growing. The first year, because of the controversy in La Mesa, we had about 1,500 to 2,000 people at the park, and it was packed. Last year, not so much, 500, 600 people. We gotta get 1,000 plus people here. We gotta advertise, we're doing the best that we can. We don't have a lot of money, we're gaining momentum on that because the sponsors are recognizing us now. SDG&E Cox. We've got a PSA out. They've got 130 PSAs out all over Cox. And they're doing a great and fantastic job. We got banks, we have EDCO. We have corporate sponsors that recognize how important Juneteenth in La Mesa, not in San Diego, in La Mesa is. And we're gonna have some controversy, it's not without controversy. But we need your help in making it stronger, and we wanna make it last. We want this to be the 30th and 40th annual Juneteenth celebration. We wanna make La Mesa a destination community because of all the things that happened in La Mesa, Oktoberfest, Juneteenth, Cinco de Mayo, because we celebrate everybody. We celebrate everybody, and we need your help to continue to do that. So please, make sure you guys help us in helping the city of La Mesa getting the word out. But we appreciate you guys. Thanks, Adrian.
I just want to say one thing. Our club sent out a newsletter to over 2,000 people in La Mesa, and it had all the information about Juneteenth. So we're helping. This club is helping get that word out.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I wanted to say something for those of us who can't make it because they're out of town. You can still donate money. It's really easy to do.
Okay, Trinity is going to talk more about Project 2025. Have all of us at least read a little bit of it? Yes. Did it make you sick to your stomach?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the action. That's what happened to me too. Trinity.
Hi everyone. My name is Trinity. I'm a board member here at the Mesa-Foothills Democratic Club. If you're just stepping in for the first time in a couple of months, I've been doing a kind of study project on Project 2025. For those of you who don't know what Project 2025 is, it is this almost 1,000-page, we could call it a playbook, about how if a conservative were to get in office, every step that they would do to completely change the executive branch and then to therefore change, America, everything. It was created by the Heritage Foundation, which has been around, I think, since 1974, and it's just super rich white conservative guys who, you know, have a lot to say and want Trump back in office. The reason I wanted to start this is because it is like I mentioned, it's about 1,000 pages long. It's incredibly difficult to read with all the, you know, political jargon and all of that. It's not exactly digestible, but it needs to be discussed because essentially the way it's set up makes you really
Vomit.
Yeah, it makes you want to vomit. It makes it very clear that they're trying to pull apart democracy. And so we've just kind of been picking specific topics. If you go online, you can search it, Project 2025. The first thing will pop up is the policy website. You can read, it's free online, the entire thing. Just click on a subject that you're interested in and take a look at what they have to say and what they want to do. So just out of interest in the topic tonight, we decided to look more over the section on the Department of Justice and see what it has to say about the Department of Justice. Overall, Project 2025, one of the main themes is that they want to remove a lot of people who are already in office, who are in nonpartisan positions, and put in conservatives into those positions, Trump loyalists, and lay off a ton of people in the federal government. There were some studies that showed it might be like close to 50,000 people or something if they were to actually follow through with this perfectly. More than that.
Career civil service, right?
Yep, career civil service. So, you know, like think about, for example, I'm sure plenty of you saw Dr. Fauci was on stand at a hearing recently. So think of someone like Dr. Fauci, who's like, you know, he's in the CDC and has done a lot of amazing work. Imagine them kicking him out, firing him, and putting him with a Trump loyalist there instead of somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. So that's like the kind of stuff that Project 2025 aims to do. But specifically for the Department of Justice, here's 5 key things that they are aiming to do with the department and through their conservative principles. So the first one is a restructuring and reorganization, which includes proposals to reorganize certain divisions to make sure they align more closely with conservative priorities. And they could focus on like decentralizing the power within the DOJ to reduce what is perceived as an overreach or a bias. Project 2025, secondly, likely emphasizes a shift in enforcement priorities towards stricter immigration enforcement, protection of religious freedoms, and reducing regulations on businesses. And the initiative may also advocate for a more stringent approach on crime, particularly violent crime and drug enforcement. Third is accountability and oversight. Project 2025 emphasizes increasing accountability within the DOJ, possibly through enhanced oversight mechanisms to prevent what is seen as a political bias or corruption. I will note, as reading it, some of the things that they mentioned as political biases was, for example, moving like stuff about election fraud or like voter criminal offenses from the civil rights division to the criminal division. It was moved to the civil rights division because the amount of voter suppression that was been happening in the United States, and conservatives want to move it to criminal, and they're saying that there's tons and tons of voter fraud because that's why Trump didn't win the 2020 election.
Oh, he did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't know. But so that's just like one example where they see a political bias to put it like in the civil rights area instead of the criminal division of the DOJ. For appointments and personnel, Project 2025 is expected to focus on appointing individuals to key positions within the DOJ who are committed to conservative legal principles and interpretations of the law. So again, like I was saying earlier, taking out all of those people who are good at what they do and just replacing them with conservative loyalists. For civil rights and social policies, Project 2025 may seek to redefine the DOJ's approach to civil rights, particularly in areas where conservatives feel has been an overreach, such as affirmative action, gender identity policies, or abortion rights. 6, regulatory and legal reforms. Project 2025 could advocate for legal reforms to limit the scope of federal regulations in line with a broader conservative agenda to reduce the size and influence of the federal government and focus more so on having larger groups outside of the federal government, so more freedom to the states, quote unquote, instead of directly through the federal government. So essentially they just want to restructure it so it aligns better with conservative values, has a stricter law enforcement, and just implements this like smaller government philosophy that you hear a lot about, from conservatives. Just a couple of things that they do mention briefly. I mentioned earlier the situation with voter suppression and election fraud. I thought that was really interesting to bring that up in there. They stated that the FBI had injected in the 2016 election with the Russian collusion hoax and Hunter Biden's laptop. Those were two things that when I do quotes, I mean like I read this, typed it out, that's what it said. Hunter Biden's laptop situation or something like that. And they said that the current DOJ has a perpetuation of the liberal agenda and that all they care about is how they are perceived by major news journals. There's the big secure the border, active sitting military and National Guard amongst the American-Mexican border. A lot of stuff on immigration, and states that immigration laws have been ignored for the past 4 years. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you saw what Biden did the other day, it's definitely not being ignored. And they want to maximize the prosecution of any immigration-related offenses. So again, like really hard, strict on immigration-related issues. So I mean, that's kind of just a quick summary of it. One thing I kind of like to wrap up with is like talking about it a little bit. When you hear all of that stuff, how do you think it's going to affect us here in La Mesa? Because like the whole point of this is I want you to go and tell people, hey, have you heard about Project 2025? Like this is why you can't be voting conservative or you can't be voting for Trump.
Or not
This is what
voting.
they're doing. Yeah. Did I say we are voting?
No, I said or not voting.
Or not voting, yeah. Oh, not voting is, yeah, that's a big problem too. So yeah, I think it's a good idea to kind of like have this think tank and say, okay, well here's all this information. Let's put it into frame of what it would be like for us, for our experiences. Go for it, Meryl.
The first thing we can do is focus on women's rights.
Yeah.
Control of our body, that is going to really hit with a lot of female voters. And I don't give a damn who you are. If you are a woman and you don't want to have kids or you don't want to be pregnant, or birth control.
Yeah.
Who are they to tell us what we can and cannot do? And this is what they want to do, and they're going to do it with everything.
Just all the other.
Go for it, Jackson.
Yeah, I was gonna say, remember, they're all saying right now that no one's talking about birth control. They tell you you're crazy if you ask if they're worried about birth control. They were all saying the same thing 4 years ago, that Roe v. Wade was settled law. Of course we're not touching it. You're nuts if you're worried about it. Now they're saying that about birth control because whenever they get one thing, they will go back to the next thing. They're talking about, people are now talking about Obergefell, the gay marriage Supreme Court decision again.
Yeah.
So whenever they tell you you're nuts for worrying about something, you're not.
And even repealing, what is it, the 19th Amendment, women's right to vote?
That one's a little
I've
further
heard
down
that.
the list, but it's on the list. And once they get one thing, they'll move to the next one. It's constant retraction.
Go for it.
This one.
Two things.
Yeah.
So recently, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, the House Republicans basically said, no, we're not going to be enshrining the right to contraceptives.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind for those people who want independence over their bodies. The women who have been adversely affected because of the stupidity of Republicans. In Texas, which is a predominantly red state, very conservative, their anti-abortion rulings is having impacts on the health of married women and women who are trying to have children. So for conservative ideology, this is going to blow up in their face. And actually, lastly, third, for those, if you ever have a conversation, it's something I considered, and I've talked about it with my brother, who's a conservative. Yeah, sorry. If you consider yourself conservative, and you talk to anybody in your family or anybody who is a little bit right-leaning and you're worried about money, consider this. If you're concerned about money, the hiring, replacing, and firing en masse of multiple, like thousands of workers costs money, and that comes down to the taxpayer. So putting in Trump loyalists who don't know what they're doing is going to cost us even more money, because hiring and firing people costs money.
Well, and it'll cause the collapse of our government.
So-
So it's fun.
Yeah, the costing of money.
So please, if you can, remind your Republican or conservative friends what it actually means to be conservative and not a maggot.
Yeah, go for it, Tina.
A statistic I came across a couple years ago. Does anybody know the #1 cause of death of pregnant women?
Yeah.
Homicide.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Homicide, yeah.
The men don't want the babies.
The men's don't want the babies, yes.
I mean, I knew that happened.
Yeah, that's the #1 cause of death of pregnant people. So,
And in Texas, they've already had 64,000 unwanted births.
Yeah.
Because of their rulings.
Well, of course, they're offering free Medicare and continual schooling and childcare for the children that they want really bad, aren't they?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Wait,
silly
no,
me.
the opposite.
They love children right up to the moment of birth.
Yes. Wait, I mean, you have heard that Texas was wanting to make any kind of abortion or losing a baby some criminal with
the
up to
death
the death penalty.
They,
Yeah.
in
I'm so pro-life, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
seriously, it's ridiculous.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
In this chapter, they did actually mention in a couple of spots reproductive rights. They did discuss getting mifepristone or the abortion pill via mail, how they wanted to completely eradicate that. It was kind of randomly thrown in there.
Is that Supreme Court ruling supposed to come down this month?
Yeah, it's going to come out
Like
this
really
month.
soon, yeah.
they're gonna you get out that and then you get out of town.
Yeah, so they get into office, even if the DOJ, anyway, that's something that they want to do is get rid of mifepristone. And then another thing that they also mentioned is act that's came down from the federal government, DOJ. It's called FACE, Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances. Was mentioned. They said it was hypocritical and they want to get rid of it. Freedom to access of clinic entrances is essentially an act that keeps people away from the front of, Planned Parenthood or in front of abortion clinics, so people can actually go and get their health care. Because there's people who would protest, spit on people who are walking in, getting their abortions and stuff like that. So they did mention a couple of cases in Project 2025 where people had been taken from their homes and thrown in jail for what they were doing to people who were walking into clinics to getting abortions, and they do want to appeal that and get rid of that so people can go in front of abortion clinics again. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. This is a good thing for local government, though. San Diego City Council, just 2 weeks ago, I was at the meeting. We got the city council to approve a measure to expand the buffer zone for clinics and churches and K through 12 schools for people protesting outside. So as a city ordinance, that can also help. If you're involved in your local government at all, we just got that expanded on for the first time, I think in 40 years, was how old that bill was, and that's now a city regulation in San Diego. So even little stuff helps too.
No, that's great. Yeah.
I do have a question on that because I don't dare read it right now, but based on the leanings of that I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so nervous. I'm just getting so
No, go ahead.
Is gun control going to be, or gun safety? Do they want to make guns more prevalent? Are they putting in policies,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I mean, I just wanted to hear about those.
So they didn't outwardly, well, yeah, they didn't outwardly express gun use in this section of the DOJ, but they did talk about, you know, filling up, like, for example, an active sitting military and more National Guard and more Homeland Security officers at the Mexican-American border, which inherently means more guns. They want active military there. So even though they don't expressly use, we want more guns, NRA, like, even though that language isn't there, it's assumed.
Hearing all the discussion about women's rights takes me back to 1989 of April 10th, when I marched with 300,000 of my dearest women friends in Washington.
Thank you.
For this right. And you look at how not far we've come. And we're going through the same things all over again. But when you march with women, we were aggressive, we were assertive, but we weren't beating up on each other. We were very nice about all of it. But it was an extraordinary thing to do. And if you have never done anything like that in your life, take a chance and do it.
Women's marches are great.
It was incredible. 300,000. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about right up there with Molly Yard and, you know, all of these folks.
It's unfortunate that we have that opportunity to do that again.
You know, and that's the sad part. You know, we thought we were really getting somewhere. And one of the chants, no offense, guys, was that if men got pregnant, abortion would be a sacrament.
Instantly.
You know, and you know,
Even if men would take responsibility, and they're,
Yeah, and you go, where's birth control for men? Where is all of the, you know?
But they want to
I want something that.
It causes symptoms that they don't like.
Oh, yeah, it's just insanity. And then how the term liberal has gotten beaten up so much. Liberal means open to the ideas of others. That is its basic meaning, and it's been turned, and we've taken the bite. You know, we've been
swallowed it.
Oh, big time. And rather than saying to somebody, you know, hey,
this is what we think.
Yeah.
Eleanor Roosevelt has a really good thing on what liberal is, and that she was proud to be one, and we should just print T-shirts and own that name again.
Well, and hey, appeal to the Republicans too. Well, of course, you know, have more money than some of the rest of us each other. But you know, who are going to be the worker bees if we don't have, you know, immigration allowed and all kind of people who are willing to work and do all of this? What's going to happen to the Social Security system? You know?
Oh, well, we're going to pump out more babies to replace those workers.
Yeah.
And they're all going to want
White babies. American babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think another good point on that like case. One of the things this chapter did mention pretty outright was they wanted to pursue aggressive enforcement of immigration laws within immigrant and employee rights section of the Civil Rights Division to ensure that no American citizen is discriminated against in employment in favor of a temporary or foreign worker. So basically, you know, there's that whole like talking point, oh, the immigrants are going to come for our jobs, like that sort of thing.
And they're willing to work. How radical is that?
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, we have such a rich culture here, living so close to the border, and immigrants really add a lot of richness to San Diego. And so I think, you know, one thing when we're looking at this and how is this going to impact us, like so much of our culture comes from people who immigrated here, whether or not it was legally or illegally. And so, you know, the people that do come and they, you know, do work and they do uplift our culture and change things for the better, we lose a lot of that, you know, if you add active military at our borders and don't let people in. And so that's, again, a huge thing on the ballot come November.
Speaking as a DOD person, is there any recognition that if we deploy the military across, 2,000 miles, that decreases our readiness for our defense?
I didn't say anything about that, but
I mean, it's makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Logical consequences.
Yeah, go ahead.
You seem to be very informed on
this project, we always seem to be behind the Republicans.
Yes.
What do you know about things that we're doing as Democrats to get ahead of this?
That's Chris.
Yeah. So that's a great question. That's actually a huge reason I wanted to focus on Project 2025 as a discussion topic, because one of the biggest things is it's like they're saying the quiet part out loud, and I've seen it occasionally covered on some newscasts, but nobody really knows what's in it. I mean, like I mentioned, it's 1,000 pages. It's incredibly dense. It's a little bit hard to read. I kind of have to go over sections multiple times to really fully understand it. You know, it's on the internet. You can get it for free right there, but you know, it's not getting the appropriate publicity that it needs. You know, we're talking a lot about women's rights and reproductive rights, and lots of times when people talk about Project 2025, that's kind of the first thing that gets mentioned is, oh, they want to take away reproductive rights, and it's like, okay, well, we already knew that. Like, let's give us some new information, more reasons, you know, let's be informed by more than just that one hot button topic. It is very, very important. I'm not trying to belittle it by any means, but
Separation of church and state.
yeah, separation of church and state.
It's,
checks and balances.
one of the states just recently, I think it's Texas, codified that public money can be spent on charter and Christian schools.
That's insane. Yeah, I
Sounds
mean,
like a Texas thing.
Yeah.
Oklahoma and Arkansas want to do it too.
really, could you repeat if you want to?
No, can you repeat from the microphone? What you were, summary of what you were saying?
States are trying to, now because of this, the separation of church and state is going to become very compacted. States already, a lot of states, want to take taxpayer money from the state schools, which we all pay into, and give our taxpayers dollars to church schools, charter schools, things such as that. Now, I'm willing to bet if a Muslim school applies for it, that ain't gonna cut it.
No.
But that's what they want to do.
But yeah, I think this is like a really, really good starting point about, like, you know, I'm sure all of you have people who come up to you and ask you, how are you voting? What are you voting for? What's at risk on the election? I know every single person in this room has gotten that question because you know you're informed. This is a really good place to start. Just being like, here's what we talked about in my club. Here's some things that I read about in Project 2025. I think this is a really good just word of mouth, type discussion. You could take out your cell phone and pull it up and be like, here, you can find this whole thing online for free. You know, it's out in the open because newscasts aren't covering it the way that they should be. I think, and I can't understate that enough. And I am starting to see it being covered more and more and more. Lots of times on podcasts I'm listening to, I hear a lot more Gen Z targeted podcasts talking about it than I do somewhere like a CNN. I think it came out and then it just kind of got covered by other news. But I'm seeing there's a podcast I listen to called American Fever Dream, and they've been integrating in their topics and what they're discussing about. They're integrating Project 2025 and what impact Project 2025 could have effect on that. So finding ways to just integrating this into your discussions, I think, is a really, really purposeful way of showing people what's at risk for this election.
Pick a topic, read on it, and talk about it.
Yeah, read it. Even if you just have information on one topic that interests you, it's, like I mentioned, they're wanting to rip apart the entire executive branch and fill it with a bunch of Republican cronies. So it's, if there's something that you strongly really understand or feel powerfully, really convicted about, I really just urge you to go and read it, and it'll fire you up a little bit, make you really realize what's at stake. So, yeah. Does anyone have any more questions about the DOJ section?
I was just going to say that Tony's point about when do Democrats take the lead in something seems to me one of the most important things would be about public education in terms of what's happening with Project 25 or whatever it's called, 2025. We could be more vocal about public schools and not letting there be that kind of takeover and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole section on education here too. About
They want to kill the
She
DOE.
said we need to be educators.
Oh, we need to be, yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, we don't, realistically, I mean, this is also part of one of the issues that I'm sure we all see, and especially like, I think the quality of education and the literacy among people my age and younger, especially after like the COVID situation happened, the pandemic, has gone down. And so that has also been understanding of media literacy and also understanding of just like literacy in general. So when, you know, some people when they read this, it just doesn't make sense. Like pulling apart a big document and trying to figure it out. That's why it's important, like, if it does interest you, there's a lot of people you can go say, go read it, they're not gonna listen. You know, so it is important to be educators and to actually, you know, discuss it and have a conversation about it, because we're the people who are gonna do that. Like, that's the reality.
I can't emphasize enough the platform of the California State Democratic Party, and if you go on the website, or encourage other people to go on the website, choose an area, because our Democratic platform, our Democratic website breaks it down into a couple of paragraphs, and choose something like veterans, choose something like Social Security, and choose something like children. You know, what we stand for is our platform.
Women's
and
rights.
the more, you don't have to memorize all of it. You can just, I'll repeat what I do is I copy and paste one paragraph whenever I get onto the computer, and I put it on Craigslist and let other people argue about it. But at least they're arguing about facts.
Thank you. Okay, so that's it for me tonight. Next month I get a little bit of a break. My lovely friend Gene, he's gonna talk about the Federal Reserve next month on our Zoom meeting. He's been working very hard on all the information, so stay tuned for that. Very smart guy. And that's it. Like I said, go read Project 2025. If you have any questions, come ask me. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, just to clarify, Trinity is not an expert. She just reads it. We all can do that, right? She does the work. As she said, next month, see you here? No, because we will be on Zoom next month. The month after that, August, see you here? No, that's gonna be party in the park, picnic in the park. Picnic in the park. So this is our last meeting here until September. Spread the news. We will get blamed if people show up here next month or in August that we didn't tell them. We will put it on every way of reaching people we can. We will
Website,
send freaking
newsletter,
carrier pigeons if we have to. But yeah, please spread the word. We're gonna be Zoom next month, and the month after that, we're gonna be at the park. Also, I just auditioned for a play. I have not heard yet from the director, but it may mean that I miss some times with you. It will open, right now they said it's opening in August, right after I get back from Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, thank you guys, thank you. I was overwhelmed, I was so excited to win, and for Chris as well. So we were very proud, and we're kind of like hated by the other people, just so you know a little bit. It's like, oh, Tina Reinberg, oh yeah, you got 100 votes. I'm like, yes, I did. No, it was you guys, and I appreciate every single one of you that did what you could. We were gonna have candidate announcements real quick, 1 minute apiece, quick like bunnies, jump up there. Looks like first we've got Miss Lauren Casares, La Mesa City Council.
Good evening, La Mesa Foothills Democratic Club. It's good to see you all. My name is Lauren Casares. I'm your endorsed candidate for La Mesa City Council. So glad to be with you all again this month. I'm trying to stand back from it because I always over-enunciate into this mic. I wanted to share with you that Rosamond is hosting a meet and greet for myself and Jay Steiger coming up on Sunday, July 7th, and I have handouts for everyone. It is not a fundraiser, but you're welcome to contribute, of course. But if you just want to stop by and get to know Jay and I a little bit more, I would love to have you there. I also would love to share with you one of my latest endorsements that I'm very proud. I received the endorsement of Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp just last week. So things are looking good. I have the endorsement of all of our local elected Democrats in La Mesa, including our mayor, our 3 city council members, and our treasurer, Matt Strabone, and we're really starting to pick up the pace. So I hope to see you all at an upcoming event. I'd love to get you on my email list if you're not on my email list yet. And additionally, I have a contingent in the San Diego Pride Parade that is Lauren Casares for La Mesa City Council and East County Allies. So I would love to have you all come out and walk in Pride, which is on Saturday, I believe it is July 20th. It could be, Saturday, July 20th. So hopefully this fall I will be the first openly LGBTQ elected official in the city of La Mesa. And so I would really love to have your support and come out and walk in that parade. And that's, I think, all the time I got. But please, I would love to give you one of these. If you want a yard sign or a magnet, I've got them in my car. Thanks.
And this is for those of you that complained last year, why are you letting too many people run, Tina? This is what we did this year. We got 1 opening and 1 candidate. So this is how we want to do it from now on.
Good evening, Democrats. My name is Nadia Farjoud, and I'm running for the Grossmont Healthcare District Zone 3. For those of you who aren't familiar, that entity provides health and wellness programming to East County, San Diego, and is responsible for partnering with the only hospital in East County, which is the Sharp Grossmont Hospital. This is a winnable...
By the door. Shush.
This is a winnable race for a Democrat. The zone I'm running in is D+18, so we can flip this seat. A Republican has held it for 16 years, and he's going for another term. And when I look at what's been accomplished on the board, I think we can do a lot better than that. East County deserves a lot better. I'm a healthcare attorney. I've been working for many years now to ensure compliance with state law for hospitals across California. I also have significant support in this race, and I know it's going to be really hard, but I'm putting in the work to flip this seat. I've raised more than $75,000 so far, which is more than anyone who has ever raised for this seat. I'm committed to winning. I'm putting in the work. I know what a good field program looks like. I've worked on the Biden-Harris campaign as well, and local races. And I have every single elected official, more than 20 of them who have endorsed in this race, have supported me. I'm grateful to have the support of Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, every single Democratic member of the La Mesa City Council. I would be so honored to earn your support and happy to stay after to answer any questions you may have about my candidacy or the Grossmont Healthcare District. I'd be greatly honored to earn your support, and if you're excited to get out canvassing with us, please reach out. Again, Nadia Farjoud, running for the Grossmont Healthcare District Zone 3. Thank you so much.
What are you running for, Jackson?
Oh God, no. Hey guys, I'm quick. I'm Jackson. I'm running Sarah Jacobs' campaign. We have to miss the Flag Day parade because the D-Trip, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, is holding us all hostage in Torrey Pines over the weekend. But we are also going to be in Pride. So where'd Lauren go? We'll have to get people to. We can divvy up or whatever. I don't know. Sarah would love to see you guys there too. So we'll see you all at Pride.
You can definitely walk with both of us. I walked in 4 contingents last week.
Yeah. People can you can slide. I also finally remembered to bring some yard signs. Thank you for reminding me, Rosamond. So if anybody wants them, you can pick them up from me in the corner.
Hello, Democrats. This is Brenda, and I'm running for Grossmont Healthcare District Board of Directors as well, Zone 3. And I've been a nurse for 40 years, and my whole goal is to help with the underserved and also with the rural areas. Nurse practitioners will be able to function at their full capacity by 2025. And I think that that's a solution to outreach in the rural community, because instead of a person's like a congestive heart failure getting out of control because they're trying to treat themselves at home, if you have nurse practitioners that can set up a mobile van, they can go out, they can visit the patients, they can possibly prevent that congestive heart failure crisis. And because right now, the ambulance at Grossmont Healthcare, or the hospital, is backlogged with ambulances. So the offload, if you go in to get a bed, might take 2 to 3 hours. So that's one solution I'm looking at doing for Grossmont Healthcare District Board of Directors. I'm Dr. Brenda Miller, and I'm a clinician, and I'm a hospital administrator. All right, take care.
I am not running at the moment. My name is Miriam, and this is just announcements, so if anybody else has announcements, please line up because we have a right to have announcements. This is a repeat of last month, but I also have an addition. For those of you who like folk music, peace, Holly Near, it's a concert. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not in charge of the concert. It happens to be Juneteenth here at La Mesa. It happens to be Father's Day. It is Sunday, June 16th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's fairly short, it's 300 people in Hillcrest near the UC Hospital on First Avenue. I have extra tickets, but I also have a catch. I need rides for 2 people, just home from the concert, just back to La Mesa from the concert. So if anybody wants to go to the concert, I'll be happy to give you the tickets. I will be going to the concert. I just can't get home from the concert. Anyway, see me afterwards, Miriam Plotkin, and if you have any questions, I'm hanging around. Thank you so much.
Last announcement.
Hi, everybody.
You gotta get much, much closer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pauline Ripple. Many of you may remember my wonderful husband, Rod, who was the newsletter editor for 14 years here. I want to add to the postcard issue and really recommend, and Rosamond's going to help me with this, that you order your own postcards online. And I have the way to do that through the turnoutpack.org. And you can order as many as you want. And the nice thing about that, even though we're going to do postcards here some month, the nice thing about doing it at home is you can take your time with it. You know, you can get a lot out. I mean, I've ordered 500, which I'll be spreading out with some friends who've agreed to do it. Lori Wasabi's going to do it with me. So I'd really recommend that. And Rosamond, can you send an email, or can we send an email so people get the address for the turnout pack? How can we do that?
Right here.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay. What we'll do is we'll put it on our newsletter, and then we'll put it on our website.
Great.
Okay?
Good, thanks. Thank you, Tina.
Okay, so we will see you next month here. No, it's on Zoom, remember. And it's time to pick our 50-50 winner. And Rosamond or somebody want to look at my tickets?
Oh.
I finally bought some this time. I like my chances of winning much better. Okay. 199921. 921.
921.
Nobody's claiming? 921. No? Should we draw again? 921, okay, yay! Rosamond won. Fix. How much money did Rosamond win? $31.
Just keep it.
Okay.
Donation.
Oh, nice. She donated it back to the club. Thank you very much. We are adjourned. It is 8:32. See you next month online. Tell all of your friends and